Yeah, you know, I wanted to ask you something. Let's flip the roles real quick. Do you think Grime had an influence on the creation of trap?
No.
No?
I don't, because in a sense, because if we're talking, right, okay, so I fired off the guns a little bit too quickly there. Are we talking trap as in, because coming from the trap, that's that dirty South that was there before grime became as it is. If you're talking about drill, for instance, drill came a bit later and did originate in Chicago. And if you're talking about UK trap or UK drill, then it was, I'd say you actually, that's a very good question. Now that I really break it down, it goes to show, kids, think before you speak. But
the trap I'm thinking about is the Chicago trap.
Chicago trap and Chicago drill. I'll say possibly yes, but I would have to look a bit more into it. But I know that the UK drill, which has become excessively popular, I still would separate from grime in its own essence. I'd still say it is grimy, but grime, you have your artists like Gets, you know, your Chips, who are very super lyrical with the way that they put across their messages. Like Gets released an album not just too long ago, absolutely fire. Definitely listen to it if you haven't had a chance to. Right. And Gets is one of my favorite grime MCs. Then you have your Tiny Tempers. Then you have your Dizzy Rascals, for instance, who did actually manage to break the States as well. Yeah. But with the way that those guys, I remember in a sense with grime, it's still very intricate. You're still very intelligent. I'm not saying that these artists aren't intelligent, but I feel if anything, it might be a watered down version in a sense of what trap is. But without knowing where the roots kind of comes from Chicago, I think maybe in some cases it's just as music was developing and changing, maybe they did get influenced by the rawness and dirtiness from here. And then they decided to morph it in their own sound and then create what we now know as drill Chicago drill. But then this is the funny thing. I was actually aware of Chicago drill when I was doing radio on Westside FM, my local radio station here, 89.6 FM, which is only broadcast to like West London. And there was a guy, DJ called Mikey Lee. Shout out to Mikey Lee as well. And he was literally bang on the Chicago drill. Like he have whole radio shows dedicated to just Chicago drill. And then it actually leaked into the UK. Then you had UK drill. But I would never put UK drill in the same basket as grime, the same way grime artists wouldn't want to be put in the same basket as a garage MC, and the same way both wouldn't want to be put in the same basket as being a hip hop MC. Right. So I think I
was more thinking of the bounce, the type of rhythm and the bounce. Maybe not so much the lyricism, but I was thinking a little bit the lyricism, but more the bounce maybe of the lyrics, but the bounce of the beat.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning in a sense of the griminess of it all, that kind of temperament, that the sound that grime embodies. I would definitely, I could definitely not say yes, there is definitely a degree of influence on that, but then just like you guys do, you guys just flipped it over, whether you don't like your egg sunny side up, you like it well done, you guys just put your own twist onto it, and here we are, but I think you're definitely, I would be very unsurprised if it wasn't. However, you've definitely made me want to do my homework. So I will definitely do that.
No, I was just curious because I remember some of them grime beats, they would have that little bounciness that some of the trap Chicago beats have nowadays, and the trap Chicago shit been going on for years now, but it's not the 4/4 rhythm that we use for the boom bap shit. You know what I mean? The boom bap be like boom, cat, boom, 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 cat, boom, cat, boom, boom, cat. Just regular. But then when you go to, as far as I know, the grime or the trap shit, it'd be like more of the double time hi hat, or the fast hi hat going, and the beat don't be
Yeah,
it'd be more bouncing, you know, to where you can do different type of deliveries and play with it rhythmically a little more than you can old school boom bap drum beat, you know.
Well, with that actual drum beat, so what that comes from is actually garage, because where it started from is you had, so that was like your Craig Davids, for anyone who's tuning who might not know, the easiest way to associate to garage. So I'd say that for states and international purposes, even though I know this is going to hurt a lot of garage heads, but Craig David might be one of the easiest international bridges. But what it was is that grime artists, so you have the godfather of grime called Wiley, and he came up off drum and bass, the garage kind of the vibes, and also a lot of dub and music of that nature. And what he did was, because they couldn't get into the garage raves and do their version of rhyming, because garage wanted to be more R&B, more poppy, more having fun, you know, that kind of glamoury clubbing, pop, champagne popping lifestyle.
Maybe more electric too.
Yeah. And then you had the grime, which was like, look, well, we just want to tell our story on this kind of UK flavor, because hip hop doesn't kind of want us, but we want to do it over these kind of beats. But they got completely rejected from that scene. And then they also weren't even allowed to really shift into the jungle and drum and bass scene either. Right. So that's where, you know, you had your type, you know, like Wiley and those who originated it, who basically said, you know what, we're still on this flow, we're still on this vibe, this is what we are, but we're going to make this into our own sound. So that's where you get, so when you listen to, like, for instance, say, you know, garage beats, they would generally be anything over 120 up. All the time would be over 120 up. So if you were then, as you know, your music, if you then half the 120, so that's where they get the variations. So even sometimes you get your 160s, you half that down to 80. So you're already still dealing within the same BPMs. So you had a 160, for instance, a 160 bait, like one drum, and then you put a 80 drum onto it. You then have those contrasts of sounds, which then gives you that in and out, which is a very drum and bassy technique as well. So it's just, like you said, it's very intricate on it. So you do have those fast hi-hats where people are like, oh, how do you even fit that into it? Well, just half it. And then that's where you have those abilities for those people who can step in, do that kind of slow rhythmic kind of bounce to it. And then on the flip side of it, you'll get those people who can just kind of crack, 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 crack. I'm not gonna lie, because I used to dabble in the whole rhyming thing, used to freestyle Killah more so than my pen game. But even for me, sometimes catching that grime beat or garage beat is difficult. Really difficult, because like you said, I come from, like you said about the boom bap, or from that era of hip hop, or I'm more melodic or an R&B kind of style where you can kind of play with the harmonizing, whereas these guys, you have to find the pocket. You don't find the pocket within that in this genre, you're going to be all over the place, and you start to catch yourself like, oh, what, oh, that just didn't fit right. But but back to what you're saying, But this is what you guys did, man. This is what hip hop did. This is your contributions.
Creation mode. We created all kind of different, you know, genres and sounds, and you know, it's like exploration and shit.
Yeah, for real, like some Jack Cousteau business. But so, I mean, now we'll go, you know, moving on a bit, because I mean, you've definitely worked or been collaborated with quite a lot of, you know, sort of legends, and you know, so taps like Jack and Mike, Marshall, San Quinn, Lavetti. You've even, Mac Dre's even appeared on one of your projects as well, and you've also were one half of Street Reporters as well. So, how does it feel looking back at that? You know, looking back at, so now, you know, here we are, 2021, and you look back at your catalog, and you say to yourself, if you were to dig into your own crates, what does that look like? How does that look and feel for you now?
Oh man, I'm still, it's funny to say this, but I'm still developing. I'm still growing, and I'm about to put out a trap drill kind of album. It's all done. And I got a West Coast album that's all West Coast, LA, the Bay Area kind of sound.
Dope.
No boom bap, you know, on either of them projects, because I love hip hop, and whatever way, shape, or form that it comes, I'm on it until it gets corny. If this culture of ours ends up some cornball shit, then I'm gone. but as long as there's some cool, fly, street, soulful shit, then I'm for every splinter or every offshoot that there is from the original hip hop art form of making music, So I look forward to dropping this trap kind of album. I look forward to all the beats ain't that 4/4 rhythm we was talking about, It's the opposite, and it gives me a little more room to work on showcase my rhythm, and I can have a verse where I do two different kind of flows within one verse, because those kind of beats, those trap beats, sometimes they're slow, and sometimes they got that hi-hat that goes double time to where you can go fast, but then you got the drum beat going slow to where you can go from a fast flow to a slow flow in the same flow, in the same in the same verse. And that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope in itself, because you show people I can come up with 2-3 different bounces, 2-3 different rhyme styles in one verse. The boom bap beats don't really allow you to do that as much, because they're more straightforward, with the rhythm. So to me, music is nothing but rhythm. Every kind of music you can think of, it all comes down to being a rhythm. When Jay Dilla had a anniversary of his death, I think lately, and I posted on social media, "Rhythm in Peace, Jay Dilla," and people liked that post, because I didn't say rest in peace, I said rhythm in peace. And to me, everything is a rhythm. Our heartbeat got a rhythm. Life is a rhythm. Tribe Called Quest first album of theirs I ever picked up was what was it? People's Instinctive Travels in the Paths of Rhythm.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. Such a dope album.
So I'm making my age known now with that one. but man, all this hip hop stuff is all rhythm. So when all these people say I don't like this kind of hip hop, I don't like this kind of hip hop, I like trap music, I like that ratchet shit, man, it's all rhythm, So that's why I'm looking forward to putting out this trap kind of album. I'm looking forward to putting out this West Coast album. They're both done, but I'm in the middle of promoting and pushing this Street Disciple album right now. So I got to just wait before those come out. But I believe as human beings, not just artists, but as human beings, first, artists second, we grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. Then we pass away and leave a legacy for the next people behind us, So with that being said, I want to keep growing. And I did the last two albums boom bap on purpose to give love and respect to what got me into this in the first place, like the Nas Illmatic type of album. To me, that's like the Bible of hip hop, So in 1993, 94, I heard Nas Illmatic, and it changed my life. I got to give back. And for me to give back with the last two albums, I did those type of albums. I'm not saying it's on the level of Illmatic, but I'm just saying it's representing those same principles. Boom bap, samples, hard lyrics, the streets, poetry, not too much singing on the hooks. No singing on the hooks for mine, but a couple songs with scratches and shit. These young brothers, they don't know about scratching. I talked to my daughter a month or two ago. I told her I was gonna put some scratches on a song, and she was like, "Scratches." So it is what it is.
Wow.
We just growing, brother.
That's true. It goes to show the generational gap, though, now, isn't it? Like for us to even as me as a DJ, which is still one of the things I definitely want to get down once I get the chance to kind of get back into it again properly, is scratching. Like just on the principle, I don't want to necessarily go to the scratching, you know, Red Bull competitions and things of that nature, but to actually get scratching down to the fact is just all natural. I mean, I work on a DJ controller, which has been a majority of my DJ journey. But for me, I still have a nostalgia. Like if I can, once funds and, you know, willing to get it, I'm definitely going to have my turntable. I need an original turntable. I need that Technics, personal Technics. I need the mixer. I need to have that setup and some CDJs and a actual DJ controller as well, because just showing once again the evolution of it all. But just to get scratching down, just to be able to do that whole that whole level. I'm not looking, like I said, I'm not looking to be no DJ Premier out here, but it'll be nice to be. But that's definitely something I'd love to have done. But it's like you said, it's in this day and age, it's not relatively and highly known. Most people wouldn't, most kids these days wouldn't kind of get with it because they've just got music on their iTunes or their iPods and their phones, and a lot of the music that's out now is only about 2 minutes long. But
they got auto tune all over the hooks and verses. Even with an artist that I like this artist that's out now. I think he just won Grammys and shit, but his name is The Baby.
Yeah, The Baby.
I think he got skills.
Yeah,
but at the same time, a lot of his songs got the auto tune on the verses and the hooks, which is cool. I like the sound and everything, but there's some hip hop enthusiasts that don't like that sound. You know, like for example, there's these dudes, I forget the names off top, but they're in Germany and they wanted me to send them a song and they were going to throw it on something that they were working on, like a compilation. And they're known, you know. I can't remember their names off the head, but they're known and shit. So I wasn't sure what they was looking for. So I sent them something that I had, one of the rare songs that I do have, with auto tune all over it. You know what I'm saying? and them brothers sent me an email back like, "Oh, you sent us the one with the auto tune, huh? We don't really fuck with auto tune, you know, something to that degree." And I was like, these motherfuckers, but I know what they mean, bro. So I sent him an email back. I said, "Hey man, I got 100 songs without auto tunes. My bad. You know, I'll send you something more up your alley. I take it that you are a hip hop enthusiast and you want to hear that real shit with just skills and no auto tune and special effects and shit, you know." And they were like, "Yeah, exactly, you know." And so, but it's interesting because you remember Jay-Z dropped that song back in the day called DOA.
Yeah, of course.
Death of Auto Tune, right?
Yeah.
DOA was Death of Auto Tune, but that song and some of the enthusiasts like myself and these dudes I just mentioned in Germany, no one was really able to kill that noise. You know what I'm saying? They still doing the auto tune, and it's still, you know, it might not be for the hip hop heads and the ones that love underground hip hop, but we couldn't kill it. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't kill it because, like I said, the baby got skills, and some of his songs he still, you know, I guess he's trying to make hits while he's got the opportunity. I don't know, or maybe he likes that sound because sometimes you hear that sound and it sounds decent. People use, you know, it's like an effect nowadays that's used not like it used to be. It used to be used, you know, so people can sound better as a singer. You can't really sing, but we put some auto tune on it so you'll sound better. Now they're using it as a vocal effect, not so much so they sound better as a singer. So it's not trying to cover up blemishes in your singing ability. It's more of an effect that they like and they use. And, you know, when I heard a song the other day with the baby and he used it on there, it sounded good, you know, so can't knock it, you know. I'm getting tired of knocking everything. When I was coming up, I was like, "Oh, that's whack. That's whack. Dude, that's lame. Dude can't spit." But that didn't get me far in the game having that kind of attitude, you know. So it's a fine line between being a hip hop enthusiast that loves the culture and the art form and being closed-minded. You know, I don't want to say not a hater, but closed-minded, you know. Got to let these younger dudes do what they want to do because obviously a lot of them are making moves You know, and yeah, Jay-Z, Death of Auto-Tune. I thought that was gonna shut it down, but that really didn't work. It didn't shut shit down.
It's the same way of Nas is like hip hop is dead. It's almost like it's almost like you're asking to add more gasoline to the fire, really. I mean,
Right.
T-Pain is really what kind of cemented for me personally in the sense of hip hop. T-Pain was who really cemented that auto-tune kind of vibe, except for when he got called out that he literally uses auto-tune, he sings live without auto-tune and he's got wicked vocals. So once he's now using auto-tune as just a cool effect, just to kind of add a different vibe to his sound. Same way that like you're saying, like back in the funk days, they were using like the auto-tune with the guitar, the guitar with the keyboard on it, with the mouthpiece inside, and actually all singing along with the actual auto-tune as well.
Right,
so
like
if anyone,
the vocoder type of thing.
Yeah, the vocal, yeah, exactly that. Which is definitely heavy.
We had Roger.
Yeah.
Zach, Roger Troutman.
Yeah.
He did the more bounce to the ound. And so many. So you had Roger, and then he got with Tupac and them at Death Row before he died, and did, you know, California Love and some other stuff with them, and he used the vocoder. So that was kind of like auto-tune in a way, but it took more skills to use those. And
that's my point.
And then Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton from the UK, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Eric Clapton, or was it was either Eric Clapton or Peter Frampton. One of them dudes, they used the vocoder with the guitar. Like Roger used it with the piano, with the keyboard. And his voice blowing, you know, they used it with the guitar and the tube to their mouth blowing for a similar effect. It's a trip thinking back, because, man, everything comes back to a beginning. So that auto-tune shit that we use nowadays can kind of go back to Roger Troutman and Peter Frampton or Eric Clapton. I think it was Peter Frampton, but
I think it might have been Frampton, but we'll double check. But
yeah, we gotta double check so we don't get sued and shit.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I don't think we're big enough justice yet, but if you want to try, dare you come to me. I'm broke. And plus, we at the end of the day, this is a love for music. And if you're welcome to come join us on the podcast, by all means. Maybe actually I will search him out as well. Actually, that might be worth me doing a little digging around and see if I can actually have a conversation with him about that. Because but this is my whole thing. I mean, for us as enthusiasts, once again enthusiasts, I'm just a music enthusiast. This has been a part of my life. Like, you know, you cut me, one of my favorite rhymes, not famous, but favorite rhymes. If you cut me, I'll bleed music right into the cracks of the street.
Who came with that?
That was just me. That was me when I was back to writing bars and such. Like the same way you said rhythm and peace. Appreciate it, man. The same way you said rhythm and peace, which I thought was cold as well. But yeah, it's like if you cut me, once again, music will bleed out from me into the cracks of the street. And this is the thing though. So I do hear where the enthusiasm come from, because I will be honest, like as a DJ, I do listen to this music, because when I do play out live, or I do a festival, or I do get to do a club, I have to know what's popular at the moment. So, but the only thing I don't do though is I don't listen to radio too much. I'll literally keep an eye on the charts. I'll see what's circulating, what videos are, and you got your like your iTunes charts and whatever might be, Beatport and things of that nature. But aside from Billboard, that, I don't try to soak too much into it, because it can become a bit too much. And then that's where, like yourself, for me, I'm like, yo, I know what music is. I listen to things like Slave, for instance, who, an old school funk bands. I listen to like, your James Browns. I listen to, my dad sent me his, just to give an idea, give me a sec, hold on. Yeah, Soulhead, which is my dad's Spotify playlist. So I listen to things like Brass Construction, BT Express, Donald Byrd, the Blackbirds, Cameo, Crown Heights Affair, Kool and the Gang, Slave with Jimmy Douglas, George Duke, Pleasure, Roy Ayers, Leroy Hudson, Pleasure, Chic, like DC LaRue, Bob James, the list goes on. I come from listening to that and still having a love and appreciation of hip hop, because let's not forget that generation hated hip hop for cutting their breaks and their beats and making it into what it is now. And now we've got to a point where hip hop's inspired so much. What I don't like though is when these young artists try to spit on artists and people who have given giving them the platform in order to do what they're doing. Like when they, you know, you've had your little whoever saying, yeah, F this person, F that person. Like, look, no one's asking you for you to like their music by all means, but you can't be biting or spitting in a hand that's really fed you to get to you to be at this point, because you got to think it's your generations who really broke through the radio scene, you know, actually proving how hip hop can move actual physical cultures. So it's just it's quite interesting. But yeah, I think it's just like you said, it's like there's definitely a lane for the stuff that we like and enjoy that we can just sit back and listen to. I mean, I listen to a lot of old school hip hop. I mean, even with the mixes I do on the radio show for Loud Bass One, the last mix that I did, bit rusty, I'm not gonna lie, but I just played stuff like mainly from Slum Village, some Sean Price. Who else was it? It's like yeah, sure. Rest in peace. Yeah, Big Pete. Sean Peters' birthday the other day as well. Ghost and Raekwon. I played some Nas because he won his Grammy, and then it was the verses. So it's kind of like influence from that. But then also I wanted to play, you know, like Slum Village and also Little Brother. That's the other group as well. But these are the lot these are who I'm into. At the same time,